This is the Bay and Tepe Perspective. I'm Brian Bay.
And I'm Greg Tepe. Welcome to our podcast.
And this week's perspective is on stadiums.
Yes,
Sports.
And we have a guest. Richard Skittles. Tricky Ricky, whatever he is. Welcome to the show.
Yes, Tricky Ricky.
Ricky.
The alter ego of me on my podcast.
Yes, Dirty Plays.
Yes.
We're collabing this week, if you will.
Yeah.
Any promo for your podcast?
Any promo?
Like any
Listen to
shout
Dirty
out?
Plays on a Spotify.
No. Yeah, it plays on all the same.
Shit's ours does.
Yeah. So I've been talking to Brian a bunch recently about joining on, and hopefully I can get you guys on ours soon enough.
Sounds good.
Even though we've been on a short hiatus recently, so
We got to help each other out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Rogan always says. Help each other out.
I might be a little rusty. I haven't potted in a month. So
Yeah.
We'll see, I guess.
Right.
We'll see. So I guess today's topic was actually your idea.
It was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've all, and it spurred from when on one of your episodes where you guys talked about going to Yankee Stadium.
Right.
Yeah.
And I visited a decent amount of baseball stadiums, and just thought it'd be a cool idea to talk sports, but also talk, areas. So you guys talked about you guys like traveling and things like that. So just talking about baseball stadiums or football stadiums that we've been to, and kind of what you like to do inside the stadium or around nightlife, things like that.
Yeah.
An experience.
Yeah.
Sounds
I got a
good.
couple NBA ones to throw in too.
Nice.
All right.
So
you want me to start off with places I've been?
Sure.
All right. So for baseball, I kind of broke mine down by sport,
Okay.
if you will.
Okay.
So
that's how it's my head.
Yeah. So baseball, I've been to Cleveland. It was Jacobs Field at the time.
Okay.
I don't know what the hell it's called now. Progressive still,
Progressive
maybe.
field,
Yeah.
I think.
That was a Yankees game. That was pretty fun. I mean, I never really had been to Cleveland before. So just seeing the city, I did get a chance to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
Very nice.
which is super cool. Actually, the coolest part about it was probably like Michael Jackson's costumes,
Oh,
Okay.
if you will. I thought it was because they had all of them. I was like, oh, that's what he wore in like Thriller, and that's what he wore on that. I was like, that's pretty freaking cool. Like, it's the shit that he actually wore
right.
in the videos you've seen or at the concerts and shit. So that's the thing that stood out, like, in regards to the city. Honestly, kind of similar to Cincinnati as set up, at least back then.
Yeah.
Like, we've built up since then. But back then, it was just like, I mean, we're on the water, they're on the water, they're on a lake, we're on a river, but same diff kind of thing.
Right.
Jacobs Field itself, the thing I thought was the coolest is from the street, you can just look in.
Yeah.
You can just stand there and look in and watch the game. And I didn't know how close it was to Cleveland basketball's arena.
Yeah.
Like, literally, it's like Joe Nuxall way for us, like, and where the Freedom Center is. Like, it's literally, like, across a side street.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not across a main street. It's not a block away. Like, even though we have, like, U.S. Bank right next to ours, but it's kind of like, it's not really like a road, It's different. It seemed even closer to me.
Right.
Or maybe I just didn't imagine it, but it's similar to that.
Gotcha.
Right.
That was cool. One thing you'll like, Richard, about that is I was, of course, Yankees fan. It was Yankees were in town.
So you're rocking your gear.
Rocking my gear,
Hell
celebrating
yeah.
this, and I'm up in the cheat seats. And this little kid looks at his dad like, after the Yankees just like hit a home run, and clearly they're Indians fans. He was like, "Hey, Dad, why is he clapping?" And his dad looked back at me, looked at his son dead in the eye, said, "Because he's a jackass, son."
You know what's funny is I remember you telling me that specific story. I didn't know exactly where it was, but I remember you telling me that specific story. It's so funny.
I wasn't even mad at him.
No.
Like, I wasn't even mad. And now, for some reason, Greg wasn't on that
Yeah.
visit
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
I don't remember why, but I remember you going on that trip. We're obviously friends.
Yeah.
But you went up and
Yeah, it was
to
a
see a
birthday
Yankee-
present from like an
Yeah,
ex-girlfriend that took me
that's
out.
what
Yeah,
I
like,
thought.
but randomly you weren't. I don't know what happened there.
which is weirder because
But-
for a Yankees game, which I don't know if I should say it now, but since I said it, I've been to Jacobs Field one time for a Yankees game,
Okay.
decked out in Yankees gear. Yankees won. There are a ton of Yankee fans there when I went, so I have a Brian story, but I had the story, or I had the fact that I felt like I had all these New York fans around me, which was great. And it was also the night that the Orlando Magic knocked out LeBron James and the Cavaliers in the playoffs.
Very nice.
So I remember watching it with a bunch of
Oh,
angry
wow.
Cleveland fans. After the baseball game, we were kind of bar hopping, and it was like, oh, okay. This is kind of cool watching it in an NBA city
Yeah.
where they actually, they're from there. And they're like,
They have some passion about that.
Right.
Yeah.
it's great.
It's,
But
it's cool to see fans enjoy playoff sports, unlike us in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Ouch. Wah,
Yeah.
wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
But I thought Jacobs Field was nice. That's what I want to say.
No, it was a nice layout.
I liked
yeah.
it. I liked it. It reminded me of here, but it was a nice layout, and I liked what you said, the view from the street thing.
Yeah, that was super cool to me. I was like, that's
Yeah.
probably the coolest part.
Yeah.
Is that you can just kind of watch from the street
Yeah.
if you're casually walking by with your dog or something.
So we don't have that here, obviously, so it's neat seeing that.
Yeah.
I've only seen it in one other city, Detroit. Their field's like that.
Oh, you've been to Detroit?
Yeah,
Doesn't
Oh,
it
okay.
kind of go like underground a little bit?
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought that was kind of cool when I heard about that.
But I'll hit Detroit later when we get to a different sport.
Right on.
Okay. So I went there. Obviously, we went to Yankee together.
Yeah,
Greg and I. That was
Yeah.
last year of Old Yankee.
that was fun.
That was fun. That was Yankees Angels.
Yep.
Got to see the city. Like, I mean, we've said this on another podcast, but basically we flew in day of, flew out the next morning. It was a put together for my birthday real quick thing.
Yep. And we were poor.
Yeah,
we're
I was
poor.
gonna say. I remember you say y'all was broke.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
was broke.
But the coolest part was that it was right next to New Yankee, and it was just like, so, I mean, that had to have been like 3 feet apart.
That makes me think of like when they were getting ready to tear down Riverfront or Senator
Yep.
Stadium, and they had to tear out part of the seats because it was literally the new stadium was going into the old
Yeah.
stadium.
Yep.
Didn't you go there?
I remember
You were
that.
there for the demolition, weren't you?
I was there, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what year that was. I think I was like 12 years old. I watched it
Yeah, the
from the
implosion,
Kentucky
right?
side of the river. And to this day, just being so young, I was just like, how are they going to knock down this gigantic
Yeah.
stadium without affecting the stadium that is literally
Right there.
5 feet from it?
Yeah.
It blew my mind. But
Yeah.
it went down like,
No pun
like
intended.
a crashing wave, dude. It was crazy.
Yeah,
Something
that's
I'll
wild
never
how they
forget.
do that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing that stood out for New York for me is that when you went inside, like where concessions were, you couldn't see shit.
Yeah.
Nope.
Like nothing. Like Riverfront was kind of that way, but you could still see the field. Like you could look. No, theirs was concrete walls, and the only time you could see the field was through the tunnel to get to the seats.
Old Yankee Stadium felt like a basketball arena.
Yes, or
You know
like
what I mean?
Cyclones
Like
for
you're
people from
inside.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It was like once you go away from where you can't see shit.
Yeah.
No.
You know,
No.
so yeah, it's kind of like U.S. Bank in that way. It felt inside.
Right.
You were inside, except when you were on the field.
But the history of that field is what made that stadium so cool, and the fact that that one was not on the river or a lake. That was weird to me at first. Like you see the apartment buildings in the Bronx, and it's like there's no water anywhere. It's a
No,
city
yeah.
all around. It's like this is kind of odd.
Yeah, it's different.
And then taking the subway to the game, obviously that was new. And then that trip is where I actually officially fell in love with New York City as a city. So we've been there more times since, and we would have had one more stadium on this if COVID didn't happen with the Mets game. We were supposed to go to Queens to check out Reds at Mets last year.
Well, technically we would have had to because we were going to go to New Yankee as well.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
We
Never
planned on
mind.
going to the Yankee Sox.
Of the new
Yeah.
Yankee.
So we were going to go to New Yankee
Yeah.
and then, what is their City Field, I guess?
Yeah,
Mets? Yeah.
Mets.
So,
Yeah, well, I forgot that it was a new stadium technically, but COVID. Like we were actually going to see the Red Sox at the Yankees.
That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And the tickets weren't bad.
no,
like,
they weren't bad
price-wise.
priced or
Right,
anything. We were
right.
surprised because it was a Saturday game, too. So.
Yeah.
And everything in New York is just overpriced.
Well,
Yeah.
back when we went the first time in, I don't know, was that 07, 08? I remember when you got a beer. That was back. Beer was $10 back then already before it was everywhere else.
Right.
I'm like
Yeah.
$10.
It was still like, I think it was still $6, maybe
Right.
$5 or $6 in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It was $10 for a Bud Light.
Yeah.
right.
Sweet God.
I just went to the Reds game a couple weeks ago against the Braves, which we won. And
Go Reds.
Holly and I spent a little extra money and got the Champions Club.
Oh,
Oh,
Where,
yeah.
where they give you a bunch of free food and stuff.
Yeah.
Just like finger foods, basically. And every beer we ordered, we just got the little 16-ounce ultras. And it was $19.94 every time. I know that because whenever I hear a price like that, I always go, great year.
great year.
I don't know why. It could be $16.44 and be like, great year.
That was a great year.
You do the same lame joke I like to do.
Yeah.
That was a good year.
I'm learning stuff like that from my dad, and it's all bad news.
Oh, yikes.
But yeah, the thing about New York City was just leading up. I mean, they have like Euro stands like we have hot dog stands.
Yeah.
Dude,
Like,
New
they
York's
just-
a totally different thing.
Yeah, just everything going on. And just the mass of people that went in. Like, I remember it was all like one entrance.
Yeah.
Like how we have like, 15, 20 different ways you probably get into Great American?
Yeah.
There was one.
Yeah.
There might have been a hidden one somewhere I didn't know of, but there was just
Well, construction may have not helped either.
No, yeah,
So
there
might
like a
have been
couple
that,
thousand
too.
people going into one entrance. It was just like a herd of cattle trying to get in.
And it's just a weird experience. Like leaving the game, everyone got on the subway, so we all heard it on there. And I remember looking over at Brian. He's just all like, all tightened up, and I can see him through the crowd. Like, what, man? And he's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then I think we asked the cop before we got on, like, this is where we're trying to get. He's like, all right, take the 125th exit off the subway, stop, and we come walking out of the steps. Like, where are we? And it's like, oh, we're in Harlem, and because we saw we were next to this weird old, looked like a Walgreens, waiting for the bus because we were taking the bus to LaGuardia, and it was just like we didn't really know the city. I'm not saying we know the city super well, but we know it better now we've been there again. But back then it's like, okay, where is that in relation to the Bronx? Where is that in relation to what we're trying to get?
Yeah.
And at that point, since we didn't have a hotel and it was all day, nonstop, we were exhausted. I remember being on the bus, I just want to go home. I'm tired. I'm so tired.
I was frustrated before we got into the stadium.
Yep.
Because it was 150 degrees and
especially on the subway.
Oh God.
Walking into the oven.
But those are my baseball stadiums. So, Richard, you want to touch on some you've?
Yeah. So, baseball is the one I've been to the most for a few reasons. One, because baseball is just a less hostile environment.
True.
When you're going to an away game,
it's a little friendlier.
Definitely not like football.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've been to a lot more baseball games at away stadiums than I have football games. So the first one, hold on. The other reason is baseball seats are also a lot cheaper than football seats.
Are they?
So honestly,
right.
For the most part, you think about sitting in the nosebleeds at GABP, you could get seats for $10-15 sometimes.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I don't know if it's Mike Brown just being Mike Brown, but sometimes you're spending $65 to sit in the top.
I always think of $60-65 as the standard low price for NFL tickets.
Yeah.
That's the number in my head. It's like,
and if you just want to go see a baseball stadium and maybe not sit on the field, if you just want to go to go and you want to try to be cheap about it, you can find $10 seats.
Oh yeah.
So that's the nice thing about baseball stadiums. And also I like going to baseball stadiums because you can go back there for an entire series if you'd like.
Yeah.
Instead of a football game, you're there for 3 hours and you're done.
That's it.
Whereas a lot of times when I go to baseball stadiums, I usually try to go for the whole series.
Okay.
As long as my schedule works out with it. But first one I ever went to, it was actually the only away game that I'd been to where I didn't see the Reds.
Oh, okay.
And it was just I have family out in Colorado.
Okay.
And had never met them. I was in 8th grade. Had never met my two uncles because they moved away before I was born. And we went out there to visit them. This was 2 or 3 months before 9/11, so it's 2001.
Okay.
I want to say it was July or August. And they got us tickets. We went and saw the Rockies versus the Pirates. And to this day is one of the coolest experiences because they say the ball flies out there.
Yeah.
Just thin air. And there were 7 home runs hit in the first inning between both teams.
Wow.
Just kind of a cool experience.
Yeah.
I'm a little kid. I'm there to see some action.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be bored. And it was just balls flying all over the place. And what's cool about their stadium is all their seats are green. There's one row of seats around the entire stadium in the upper deck that are purple.
Yeah.
And that signifies exactly 1 mile high.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
So kind of cool about that stadium. Something you wouldn't notice if you just saw them spanning the
I never
stadium.
knew that.
I never
so-
noticed when I'm watching them on TV.
Yeah.
So
Right. Yeah. So
I think that's a cool idea because it is wild on the geography side of it that, being in that thin air, you notice a difference.
sure.
I have family just south in New Mexico,
Yeah.
and they're same altitude. And I remember one year going out to visit my cousin. Was when he was driving, and we went and hung out with his friends, and we played basketball and football. I remember me and my brother were we couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
It hits you.
Yeah.
It's wild. But that sounds cool. You're rooting for Colorado, right?
Yeah, just because I was out there with family and I was in 8th grade.
who'd they play? Did you say
The Pirates.
Oh yeah.
So obviously they were playing a divisional foe for us.
Right.
We're bred to hate all Pittsburgh sports. So
Yeah.
that was an easy one for me. But no, yeah, it was fun. Like I said, I got to spend time out there with my family and didn't do anything crazy yet. I was in 8th grade. My dad was buying everything out there.
Yeah.
I've told you guys already, my big thing when I go visit stadiums is I like to collect memorabilia from each of those stadiums, specifically the 5950 hats they wear on the field. So I try to get a hat from each stadium that I go to, which I started. The next game I had gone to was at Busch Stadium, and there's something about the Cardinals that I could not buy a St. Louis Cardinals hat. I think that's
I kind of see it. I don't know.
We were just talking before we started, and you said you'd like to own every team's hat.
Yeah.
I feel like if there's one you could leave off that list, it would be the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
But I did get to go see a Reds victory when we went there, so I'm 1-0 in Busch Stadium.
That's good. Did it feel like a true baseball town? They always say St. Louis is a baseball town.
Yeah. I mean, the stadium was packed. They booed Brandon Phillips every time he got up to bat.
I'm sure that's
Brandon Phillips, yes.
And if I recall, I think he was a big reason why we won that game. So it's even better to hear the fans boo.
And then he helps,
Oh yeah, and he's one of the
ones.
He has a day. Oh yeah. That was a fun experience. Just went with Chris Gauchi, one of our buddies. We just randomly planned it like 2 months prior.
Yeah.
Drove out. We drove back the same night, which sucked. Like you guys were saying.
Reminds me of the New York trip.
Yeah,
exactly like you guys were saying.
Quick turnover.
I mean, when you drive 7 hours or whatever the trip is there.
Yeah.
And then you watch a baseball game for 3 hours. You sightsee for a little bit. We saw the arch and all that.
Yeah.
And then,
and Nelly.
7 hours straight back. Yeah, I think Nelly was standing on top of the arch.
Making a music video.
Singing country grammar. But then, and then like 3 weeks later, I had planned a trip with, it was my ex at the time, and then a bunch of friends. We had like 4 or 5 of us. We went for a 2-game series against the Cubs. Which, like I said, I want to say that this was back in like 2011, 2012. The Cubs still sucked.
Yeah.
So you knew you were going to go probably see a winner. And we went to back-to-back games, and they won both games.
And then at Wrigley, obviously, iconic Wrigley.
No doubt. And I don't know if you guys have been to either one of them, but I know how much you guys are not fans of the Red Sox. But you have to go see Wrigley and Fenway.
Oh, I do want to see both of them.
A side note, one of my COVID trips that got canceled was to Fenway.
Yep.
With our buddy Andy.
Yeah.
Like me and him were talking about going up there just for a few days, see Fenway and see Boston in general. Because, I mean, as much as I don't like the Red Sox, I think the city would be a cool city to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like there's some history to it, and, it's just an old school kind of blue-collar city.
Yeah.
So
that may be the one stadium where I do wear a Yankee hat, even if I don't play the Yankees.
I
just thought about that.
But the difficult thing because those stadiums are so iconic and they're older. They're built in the middle of neighborhoods.
Yep.
Because they're so old. There's literally houses around these stadiums, which is just like the craziest thing, like you were just saying.
With Old Yankee Stadium, yeah.
And we're just so used to seeing a riverfront right next
and
to all of our
businesses
teams.
and stuff.
Right.
Bars
side,
and
right.
We're right next to a
Skyscrapers.
downtown area for sure. But no, Wrigley, again, you have to take a subway. First time I'd ever done that.
The L train.
Yeah, something like that. Who knows?
something like that.
And you're right, and it's you and 4 people standing on a subway, and you're just surrounded by Cubs fans, and they're like, "Why are you wearing that shit?" And we're like,
"Right,
I don't know."
Cincinnati, please don't kill us.
Yeah. But so I've actually been to Wrigley 4 times, 2-game series. Once in, like I said, in 2011, and then went back in 2013. I'm 4-0 at Wrigley Field.
Oh, nice.
So I'm.
You got a good road record.
I'm 5-0 in the division so far.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah. And then I just said it. We went out to Boston for a 2-game series for the Reds out there. We lost both games, but if people have listened to the pick'em, they know that we have our love-hate rivalry with each other. You guys are Yankees fans, and I'm a Red Sox fan, and I'm wearing my Red Sox hat tonight.
Wah, wah, wah.
Which I bought from the stadium. That's the reason I wore this tonight. That's the memorabilia I like to get.
I should have known and wear my Yankees hat, but I decided, I was like, he's probably going all Reds. We're all going to be together tonight. Let's just do the home team.
Yeah.
No,
I didn't get the memo.
No. I wore my Yankees hat that I bought from Champs Sports, Cincinnati, Ohio. No, I wish I had that tradition like you do, though.
Same
like
here.
buying hats or something. Yeah. I just never did it, and then now I may start something like that, but
it was just something I randomly thought of the first when I went to the Cubs stadium. We were just kind of walking around, and I saw kind of a cool looking Cubs hat. Like I said, it's kind of a sin for us to have Cubs or Pirates or and those things generally stay tucked away at my house. They're just for like a keepsake. Like,
Yep.
I got this at Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
But if you explain it, I get it. Like, it's
Right.
one of those things where I'm like, okay, because I can see me doing that.
Right, but
Like,
I don't ever wear them because I'm not going to go out and people are like, "What are you wearing a Cubs hat for?" Because I would say the same thing to somebody around here at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so lost both games out at the Red Sox Stadium, but got to see Yawkey Way. They have a lot of cool, like the history of the Red Sox on the outside, a bunch of jerseys, like Yastrzemski. They even have a Babe Ruth jersey out there.
You kind of have to.
Yeah,
That's the
without
whole
a doubt, without
beginning
a
of the rivalry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you have a good view of like the Green Monster or?
We talked about it, and so when we went there, we never like rented a car, and the place that we stayed was like, I want to say like a mile and a half away. So we had to walk to and from when we went to the stadium, and there's a decent amount of nightlife down there. But we just kind of dicked around one day when we could have. You got to go down like 2 or 3 hours early, and you pay a little bit, and you get to take the tour throughout the whole stadium, walk on the Monster.
Yeah.
I did not get to do that, so I would like to go back there at some point and take that tour. I think that would be fun.
It reminds me, at Old Yankee Stadium had Monument
Park. I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Okay, and we got there just where they're closing that off, where you can't.
Yeah, we didn't know. We figured it went on all game.
Yeah.
Like you could just go over there at some point. Maybe not the last few innings, but we figured mid game was good. No, it was like the first 2 or 3 innings. So after like the third, it was.
Yeah.
And of course, we didn't find that out until we were like all the way around the stadium because we were sitting on the opposite side of where it's at.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we were walking, a mile to get around to the damn stadium to get to where they've roped it off. And they're like, "Oh, we just roped it off like 5 minutes ago." We're like, if we'd have known, we'd have just like came there directly.
Like,
But we figured we had time to settle into our seats, drink a beer or two. All right, let's
rest
go check
for a little bit.
Yeah, rest. Let's go check it out because we had also been walking all day.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, yeah, we just missed out on that.
But I do want to check out Boston. I hate the team, but it's still history, and it's a Green Monster.
See, I've always wondered if I should try to get seats on the Monster or get seats where I can see the Monster.
Yeah.
We sat in the outfield and right field, so I mean I had a pretty good view of it. But with limited seating up there, it's got to be hard to get.
I'm
tickets.
sure.
I'm
it
sure,
is,
yeah.
I'm sure it
I
is.
almost wonder if that's like season ticket holders up there,
Or just
Or some
diamond seat
special
type
thing.
money. Yeah.
Well, and then one thing about Chicago is they get the bleacher seats out in the outfield. Did you guys know that, like you can buy those, but they're first come first serve. Like there's people that stand outside hours before in line because if you're the first person in, you get to pick exactly where you're sitting.
All for a shitty team.
There's no designated seating in that area. So
Yeah, I think I've
No,
heard
it's
it
funny.
before.
A guy I worked with went there, and he thought since our bleachers are the cheap seats, he's like, "We'll take 2 bleachers," and they were like, "Yeah, that'd be $100." And he's like, "For the hell, what?" He's like, "I thought those were the cheap seats." So I'm like, "No, not here. Those are expensive seats." He's like, "Okay, well then we'll take 2 of the cheap seats."
Yeah.
And like they're like, "Well, these are better seats because they have a back and everything."
Yeah.
But it's just iconicism, I guess, if you will, with the
You deal with the pain
sitting
for
in the
icon.
bleachers. Yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, we don't need to do that. Like, we just thought those were the cheap seats."
Right.
So
Actually, that reminds me. Remember at Yankee Stadium how small the seats were because
Oh
it's
my
such an
God.
old stadium.
yeah, you're on top of each other. They probably had 50 people in a row.
Oh yeah,
It was like they packed it.
yeah.
just a tip for you guys: if you ever go visit Wrigley, if you get the cheap seats there, you might be sitting directly behind a pole.
I've heard.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard that. I've heard something
Because
like
it's
that.
such an old stadium and they have the poles literally hanging.
Like,
There's like a section of seats missing because there's a pole coming straight through, and you might be sitting right behind it.
I can picture
Yeah.
Brian and I going, and there's a picture of us right behind the pole. Like,
No, see, that's why I have gotten good at. I'd rather buy my stuff online before I go.
yeah,
And I view it. That's why I love technology. That's the great part about technology. Is
Yeah,
you
for
view
sure.
your seat. You see if there's anything that's going to be in your way.
Yeah.
we had good seats
You know?
at Citibank from what I saw
Yeah.
online.
Yeah. No, we did. Dude, even Yankee.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like for the price that we paid, they were pretty good damn seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I even saw some that I was looking. They're like partial. It tells you like partially blocked view. I'm like, well, I don't want any blocked view.
No.
at all.
Right.
Like I want full view. So, but yeah, no, it's City and even at Boston, we were looking. We were gonna have good seats. It
Yeah.
was- and that was a red series. Also, would have been.
Yeah.
I think
So-
Washington had good seats too because that's one of the original ones we were looking at.
Yeah, the original plan was a DC / New York trip,
Yep.
and
the
we were
train.
just gonna follow the Reds because the Reds went to DC then to New York, and we were gonna take a trip. And we start talking about it. And we're like, let's just do all New York because we want to go back. And then that's when I noticed like, hey, if we stay there through Saturday, we can go to Yankees Red Sox.
Yeah.
And of course, we were getting all hyped, and then COVID hit and just ruined.
I think that's what was the
Everything.
deciding factor, actually, because we had like almost a coin flip situation, and then we
Yeah.
saw that like New York. This is New York.
Let's do New York and move on. And then we talked about this year doing DC Philly
Yeah.
because of that, and just seeing whoever play.
Sure.
And we never planned that because we still have yet to go to New York, so we have
Yeah.
to get that trip out of the way. So then maybe next year,
Yeah.
Hey, keep me in mind.
yeah, we will.
Yeah, yeah.
Hit, like DC Philly or something. Like we just want to go see stadiums.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it's kind of what you're talking about. Cause you're talking about. I mean, you probably have more still, but like even just hearing the ones you said, like even the quote unquote random ones, like Colorado.
Yeah.
I'm like that'd be cool. Like I like the random ones, but then the iconic ones like Wrigley or Fenway. Have you? I'm not jumping ahead. Have you been to New York's?
I have not.
Okay.
No.
Okay,
So
what
you need
others-
to do that?
No.
What others you got on the list?
So that's pretty much most of them. The other one I've been to is PNC Park out in Pittsburgh.
I heard it was a
Yeah.
beautiful park.
And look, don't crucify me for this because I know it's on recording, but as much as we hate Pittsburgh and everything that is Pittsburgh sports, they have one of the most beautiful cities I've ever seen in my entire life.
All right, pause this
It's
while
on-
we beat the crap out of him, and we'll be back.
we'll be back.
Well, and that's
But no,
where-
I've heard that.
that-
Me too.
From many people.
because the old Steelers Stadium was Three River Stadium, and that's because that's where, and I'm going to butcher both of these. It's the Monongahela and the Allegheny.
Yep.
They form the Ohio right there. So
Yep.
Yeah.
it's just crazy to think that it goes,
Geography session with Richard Myers.
Tricky Ricky.
Tricky Ricky. My bad. Hats on backwards.
Yeah. But I went down there in 2015.
Okay.
With my girlfriend at the time, now my wife.
Oh,
we
what?
Went, yeah,
The missus.
married guy over here. And we went for a 3-game series there. What was cool about that? Well, and so this is where it ruins my streak. I already said we lost both games in Boston, but against our division,
division
I
games.
was 5-0. We lost 2 out of 3 to Pittsburgh,
Oh,
and
Of all teams.
yeah, and you guys are gonna hate me for what I talk about for the last day too. But what's really cool about their stadium is it's very open out.
Yeah.
And you can see they have that yellow bridge. So everybody walks to their games. Like they walk across the bridges in like packs.
Okay.
There's not a ton of parking around there. The stadiums are real close to each other. There's like a couple hotels and a couple bars and restaurants. There's not a ton of parking over there. And what's kind of cool about it is like the stadiums are here, and then where the two rivers meet, that's where their downtown area is.
Okay.
So their downtown area is close, but it's split by the river.
Sure, okay.
So
Makes
there's
sense.
there's not a ton of congestion, which is
Yeah.
which is kind of nice. But a lot of that yellow bridge right out if you're sitting and staring out dead center field, they got that yellow bridge. Everybody walks across that, and you can see the whole skyline in the background, which
Yeah.
I thought was pretty cool. You think about like the Red Stadium was flipped, and you saw like Great American
Yeah.
building and all that, and the was it the Quick Tower,
PNC and-
just all that. If you saw that in the background, you got to see all downtown. Like that's kind
That'd be cool, yeah.
So, but we lost the first 2 games while we were down there. I got a hat. Holly started to try to. She bought a pierogi because they do a pierogi race down there. Do you guys
Yeah.
know? I didn't even know what a pierogi was until I went there.
What
it's,
is it?
It's like a stuffed potato, or it's like a stuffed potato
Okay.
pancake. So they have a pierogi race, and they all have names. And Holly bought one, so she wants to buy little like figurines. And whenever we go to stadiums, we haven't gone since, but
That's
Yeah.
Richard's. That's actually Richard's collection. She collects the hats.
Yeah.
He's a little pierogies or whatever they're
Right.
called.
he's dusting off his little knick-knacks,
He did that before he came here. He's like,
getting the lighting right.
clean my little pierogi off. Holly, did you touch this?
I hate both of you. But the last day, I sprung for some solid seats. There was no one closer to first base or the Reds dugout than me and Holly, aside from the cameraman.
Nice,
So
badass.
those are the closest people, and she got Devin Mesoraco signed her hat. Todd Frazier signed her hat.
The Todd father.
Devin Mesoraco actually had family sitting right behind us. I'm like, we're sitting closer to Devin Mesoraco's family. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And then one of my favorite moments, I tell us all the time. Billy Hatcher was still on first base, and couldn't tell you who hit the ball. It was for our team. Bounced off of our dugout, and it went right to Billy Hatcher. And I jumped up. Obviously, I'm decked out in Reds gear. And I jump up, like, throw me this ball. And then there's, like, 6 Pirate fans, a bunch of little kids. And I'm like, no chance he throws me this ball. There's
Right.
no chance. He's
There's
going to
little
give this
kids
ball to one of
everywhere.
those kids. He doesn't even hesitate. Throws it right to me. And I grabbed that ball and I tucked and I was
You're like a little
I'm
kid.
so happy right now.
Yeah.
So you did catch it.
I did.
You caught it.
I
Okay,
caught
good.
it.
I want to make sure everyone knows out there he caught the ball.
I did catch it. And
That's cool.
Holly heard like 2 innings later, the mom that was with all those kids said he should give that ball to those kids. And I looked at her and I said, we drove like 5-6 hours to come to this game. I'm not giving them that ball.
No, yeah.
You just want to put Brian on his soapbox about that.
I would say I'm going to point in on that real quick. Is that when did that become? No offense, I get it, but the kids are going to be first to get the ball anyway. So what's the tradition? If I catch a foul ball,
yeah.
I'm a grown man, but I've been trying to catch a ball for 30 years.
Yeah.
I said you've been
if I
doing it
come away-
longer.
Yeah, if I come away with a ball, I'm not giving it to somebody.
Right.
I don't, not to be against kids, but no,
Yeah.
I'm taking my ball.
You shouldn't
Like,
have to, is what you're getting
no,
at.
like you feel like you get peer pressured into it,
Right.
like because people have done it now, and I'm like, maybe if it's okay. So I'll tell you, like, say I'm, in Pittsburgh and a Pittsburgh Pirate hits a foul ball and I catch it. Okay, I'll give that ball
Sure.
to the kid. It's from a Pirate.
Right.
But if it's a Red hitting it, if India hits a foul ball and I catch that bitch, it's mine.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
hear
sorry.
you.
Unless it's a kid, maybe if it's a road game and there's another kid wearing a Reds,
Sure.
I can see
that could be
that.
my
Sure.
my asterisk to that. But if I'm at a home game and a Reds, no, I'm not. Now if it's a Pirate that does it, okay, I'll flip it to the Pirate
Right.
fan.
I'll just be like,
No
when I
big deal,
catch
but
when I catch another one, I'll give it to you.
Also-
This one's
Yeah.
mine.
Also, it was the first foul ball I'd ever gotten in my entire life.
Kind of Brian's point.
If it was like my 10th,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Anybody,
but it'd be the first. Yeah,
I'll
so
make,
you've been
I'll
trying
make some
for-
kid's day.
Yeah, you've been trying for 30 years to get one. 20
You're just a
years,
big
It's
kid.
like,
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, I only have
So-
2 in my life, and the other happened against the Texas Rangers.
Oh,
And it was
Kevin's Rangers.
It was
Kevin's
their
Rangers.
pitching. It was their third base coach threw a ball, and I caught it. That's the only 2 I ever hit. I've never caught a foul ball that someone's actually hit.
no.
It was thrown into the stands.
that's almost
to me.
better because you don't have to hurt your little hands.
Right.
Yeah.
I got delicate fingers.
That's badass though.
Yeah, that is. I have 0.
Yeah.
Just put it out there right now.
Yeah.
Close.
And now they've netted half the field off, so I don't think I'll ever get one.
Right.
And then so that game we actually won, and so they were obviously trailing in the 9th, and you guys have been to plenty of games where in the bottom of the 9th to get you fired up.
Oh, yeah.
To try to
One
rally.
of the best things in sports.
Yeah, they throw something on the jumbotron. I think ours. I don't know if it's from like Cheers or something where everybody starts pounding on the table.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know what show it was from, but it's supposed to get you amped up and try to get you into it so that your team comes back and wins. They're the Pittsburgh Pirates,
Yeah.
and they played a clip from the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie where
Oh.
Keira Knightley is getting everybody amped up, and the last thing she says is "hoist the colors," and all these Jolly Roger flags came out, and I was like, this is kind of getting me jacked, dude. Like,
Yeah,
I kind of almost want the Pirates to come back in this
Yeah.
game. I was like, it was one of the coolest ways to like try to get your crowd into it.
That's giving me goosebumps because I haven't experienced Pittsburgh, obviously, but in general, as a sports fan,
Sure.
being at games where you get
There wasn't
so
a-
loud and amped.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a single flag the entire game, and it's like they pulled them out of their back pockets, and they're like,
Waited for that moment. They're just like,
It was unbelievable. I was like, what just happened?
He's like, where
I feel
am
like
I?
I'm in Pirates of the Caribbean right now.
yeah.
Right.
That's the closest I came to that was when we were at that Reds game as a home game. It was Willie Mo Pena bobblehead night.
Yeah.
And Willie Mo Pena's having a day.
Yeah.
And we're down. And he hits a freaking walk-off.
Yeah.
But before it, like, all the bobbleheads are in the air.
Yeah. it's-
Like,
That's
just
awesome.
the thousands of bobbleheads, people were just shaking in the air.
That's
like,
awesome.
And then he just jacks that son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that-
I remember that game.
that was like his second or third home run in that game, too.
Yeah,
like
that's
I said,
what I'm saying. He was having that day,
so
dude.
He must have known his bobblehead day, and I still have that one at home because of that experience. Obviously, we went together.
Yeah.
And that
Do I
was-
have it? It might be in the bobble. I don't know if he's in there.
Yeah.
The collection.
I see
here.
it. Yep.
Yeah, he's right here.
Very, very
I see his
There.
box right here.
Yep.
He's right.
So, but
Yeah.
the other one with me and you, as far as that goes, is Reds versus Braves.
Oh, yeah.
And our buddy Marcus went with us, and he's not even from here. He's not from Atlanta either, but he's an Atlanta fan. And we all went down, and it was a tight game. He's decked out in Braves gear. We're in obviously Reds gear, and decent seats too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was going back and forth a little bit, from what I remember. And then the Braves took the lead in the top of the 9th, and Marcus was one that talked a lot of crap.
Yeah.
And he was like chanting stuff and
Yeah.
basically like, you all losers go home and blah blah blah. Bottom of the 9th rolls around, and boom, walk-off home run, we win. We start chanting, "Where is Marcus?" Because he walks away.
And we're talking the whole section. People don't know this guy for shit.
We got the whole section chanting this, and we look back at him because it's firework night, so we're not leaving yet. We're like, nope, and he's just like, "I hate you guys."
I want to know when this is because I've been to a Reds walk-off game against the Braves, where we walked off with a home run. Actually, it was back-to-back home runs off of Craig Kimbrell.
This is probably circa 08, 09.
Okay, no, then it wasn't.
Yeah.
That was when Marcus still lived here.
Yeah.
Because I had a similar experience where there was
With the Braves?
and we had decent seats on third base line, and there was these 3 Braves fans behind us, and they were in the lead, and Craig Kimbrell came in, and we hear these kids going, "Kimbrell's coming in, it's locked down, the game's
It's
pretty much
over."
over, blah, 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 blah." And you know how the Braves are
Yeah.
just so annoying. And in the top of we were down 1, and in the bottom of the 9th, Devin Mesoraco hit a solo shot to tie it.
Yeah.
And it shut those Braves fans up real fast.
Yeah.
And then the very next batter was Shin-Soo Choo. So, like, whenever that era was. Like I said, it wasn't 08.
This was definitely pre that when we went then.
He went back-to-back homers to end the game. And
That's the best.
And I just waved to him as they walked.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the best.
Yes.
I love when you can do that, and you do it in good fun. You're not getting into fights and being idiots.
Right.
Where, like you said, baseball is more friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Where football, I've seen fights between our own fans.
Right.
Like we're the same side,
Right.
idiots.
It's just people getting too hammered.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But the key to getting a chance started, though, we learned is you get little kids involved. Because we had the King Griffey Jr. cheer, too.
Yeah, when we were in right field.
Or right field, yeah.
Yeah, we were in right field, and we were trying to get a chant going all game, and then finally a kid caught on, like a row or two in front of us, and we're like, we got to get the kid going, dude. And the kid started going, and then the whole damn thing, we're like, we got it.
Because then
we
the
got
mom's like, oh, that's cute.
We got to get the 6-year-old going.
Yep.
Once you get the 6-year-old going, you're victory.
Oh, you're golden.
Yeah. Everybody's going.
Right on.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love baseball games for that. When electricity is up,
Oh, yeah.
it's
the best.
Yeah,
it's so fun.
It gets deafening. Yeah,
It's so fun.
But so those are all the stadiums that I've been to, which is what, like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to Milwaukee this weekend to finish off the rest of the NL Central.
Yeah.
They'll be the only other team I have not seen in the NL
So you
Central.
need to bring
home
back a
wins.
couple wins. Yeah, we got.
I would hope.
We're in must-win scenarios
yes,
at
we
this
are.
point. So
We have
Yeah.
7 straight games coming up against the Brewers, and
Yeah.
that could be pivotal. So
make or break.
Yeah, Holly's brother lives up there, and
Oh,
we've
okay.
been trying to plan a trip to go up there. And actually, last year, his birthday fell on the Sunday that they were up there, and we were like, "That's perfect." We
Yeah.
go up, we visit him for his birthday, and we get to go see the Reds Brewers. And obviously, COVID hit,
Yep.
and that did not happen. But we are the whole family's going up there. So
Sweet. Yeah, like
it
Brian
should
said, bring home some wins.
should be a good time.
And enjoy it.
I'll probably bring home a stupid Brewers hat.
I would.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to at this
Yeah.
point.
All right, Greg, you got some besides?
Well, all the stadiums I've been to are the same as you, Brian.
Okay.
And I didn't realize that until you said yours because we didn't go to Jacobs Field together.
No.
Now, I'm going to throw in a random one that
Okay.
it's not Major League Baseball, but
That's
Major
fine.
League Baseball affiliate is the Dodgers team, the Albuquerque Isotopes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun. I've
yeah.
never been to a Dayton game or a Florence Freedom
No.
around here, but we went to a baseball game when we were there one night, and it's cool. It's like a mini. I mean, it's not designed like Great American, but it's that same
They're
feel.
smaller fields.
small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. They get hyped. It was actually when I went. It was right before Manny Ramirez when he got traded to the Dodgers.
Okay.
And he was injured. Or suspended. I forget which one. He's going to come up through the Isotopes, and they're getting ready. Like obviously, I mean, it's in the middle of New Mexico. They don't have pro teams,
Right.
So they're like,
That's what they got.
holy cow! We got a pro player coming through.
Right.
But that was a lot of fun, and it's a Dodgers affiliate, so I always thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I went and saw. I can't remember the name of the team, but they had a different Dodgers affiliate in Albuquerque when I was a little kid.
Okay.
But the Dukes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I saw the Dukes play as well. But that's all I got with baseball. I mean,
That's
ours
cool.
are the same.
I mean, I have a random one to throw in there. It was Florence Freedom. They're not Major League affiliate.
Now they're the Florence Y'alls.
Y'alls, yeah,
Y'alls.
but me and Brandon B. Walt went there, and
Okay.
we got their version of diamond seats for obviously still dirt cheap.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it was super cool because we were like literally right behind home plate. But it's set up kind of like almost like a little league where there's just a net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like right there in front of you, and the ball's coming. You know, and I'm like, this is pretty sweet.
It's fun.
But it was fun. Like you said, it was tight knit. It was a bobblehead night of some sort.
Kenny Powers.
No.
Aren't those stadiums like reasonably priced with like food and drink inside?
Oh,
yeah.
it was also dollar beer night
Yeah.
when we went.
Oh, yeah.
So it was literally $1 beers, which I mean they were like probably 12 ounce.
Yeah.
But it's still for $1. I don't, we just went and got a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it was fun.
I also have a secret obsession with minor league baseball team hats because
they're so cool though.
I think they have
Yeah.
the coolest names.
Yeah.
Like I have a Rocket City Trash Pandas hat.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's like
The coolest names. And
No.
it's literally just a raccoon, and he's in a spacesuit because Rocket City, I guess, is the area where they have a lot of like NASA headquarters.
Okay.
And it's just he's literally a raccoon, and he's holding an American flag, and he's in a spacesuit.
that sounds
That's
so
badass.
cool.
That's such a cool hat.
But a lot of the minor league ones, even the like Louisville Bats like hoodies are amazing.
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a badass hoodie.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and then even kind of like he's saying the Albuquerque Isotopes because that's out where they did like worked on the nuclear bombs and stuff.
Okay.
And they have a lot of nuclear facilities out there, working on all that stuff. And the hat was cool. I should have gotten one. My cousin always wears one.
Yeah.
Next time I go out there, I need to get one. Like, let's go to a game. Let me get one.
Yeah.
This guy I know, Richard, he collects what are those little potatoes called?
Pierogies.
Pierogies.
Get with the program.
Pierogi crafts.
But no, my favorite one, and we'll move on from this, is the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs.
Yeah.
They normally just have a pig on their hat, but it was just like a special day. They do a lot of those, which is
Yeah.
why I like their like alternate hats. And it's just a blue bill, a gray hat, and it has a strip of bacon on it.
Oh, nice.
It's just a strip of bacon for the Iron Pigs.
One of my favorite breakfast foods.
It's badass. All right, so now I got some football
Okay.
to touch on. We can segue into that. We still got some time.
Yeah.
So I've been to not very many, but I went to Indy for Bengals. That was with Wesley, Brandon, and Sarah.
That was
Okay.
recent, wasn't it?
Recent.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of mine have been pretty recent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was pretty recent. I could say Lucas Oil Stadium is amazing.
Yep.
So clean. I don't know if it's because it's indoor or maybe they're just clean. Like Paul, it was just way cleaner than Paul Brown. Like I mean, like their concrete looked freshly like pressure washed. And,
Yeah.
like now it was early in the season, but still it was just like so clean. It was huge, and had like what you would say nosebleeds, but like
Yeah.
I don't think there's a bad seat in the house.
No.
Like it was just like looking straight down on the field, and it was just like glowing because we were inside, and it was like the lights were hitting it. So it was like almost like watching it on like great like 4K TV,
Okay.
except like you're there.
Right.
And the nice thing about football is it's nice. Being up high is not always bad because you can see the plays develop.
Yeah.
And so
No, yeah, and it was like we could see the field just fine. So and they were super nice people. Probably that was like almost being at a baseball game.
Yeah.
Like you were saying how those fans are usually more welcoming. These people were super welcoming. I had my Hush Manzada jersey on. The guy was like, "Oh, when I was a Bengals fan, I used to like Hush, but he'd like jumped off our wagon onto the Colts,
Yeah.
Right.
finally giving up on us." And I was like, "Well, at least you didn't go to like the Steelers or the Browns, like most
Sure.
of our ex fans.
Yes.
You went to like just a neutral."
different division.
Yeah, neutral. But they had. I mean, it took forever to get up the stairs, like like 75 escalators. It seemed like.
Yeah.
But they had like food everywhere. Like it was just so much. Like it wasn't even like how like at the like Reds or even the Bengals, like you might have two kind of right next to each other and you got to walk a little bit. And these were literally like it was almost like going to a festival. There's like a stand after a stand after a stand, and there were just like hundreds of stands you could choose from.
Yeah.
And it was I liked it. I liked it a lot. And like even pre-gaming, you know what I'm saying? Tailgating and all that was great. They're super nice people.
Right.
Like it was I enjoyed it. And the Outsider Stadium looks amazing. It's like a palace. Mm-hmm. So I kind of wish Paul Brown looked like that.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
I've seen the outside of it, and
Yeah.
it looks huge, and it looks like you said, a palace.
Yeah, it's amazing for sure. And so I went there, and then the only other one I went was Buffalo
Yeah.
with
for
Richard
my
for his bachelor party.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
And speaking about when you were talking about like not a ton of entrances, do you remember when we were driving into the stadium and people were telling us to get there like 3 hours, 4 hours early?
Yeah.
Which you want to do anyways because
Yeah.
you want to tailgate. But like I swear to God, there's only one entrance and one exit out of that place, and it's like a 2-lane road. It's just like
yeah.
we got off the highway and all of a sudden you look like you're on a country road, and we just sat in traffic for like 45 minutes.
As Bruce
I
Smith
think we got
checks
there
each
after
one.
all of you guys did.
We
you
got
guys-
there super early, so we didn't have to sit as much.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was brutal
But we
for
knew
us.
because you were like, we're almost there, and then 45 minutes later, you guys pop
Yeah, it
up,
was-
and we're like,
dude.
yeah, you should have came with us like an hour ago.
Yeah, it was awful.
Because there was nobody there, like,
Yeah.
and they were like, at least outside the stadium, they were really nice people. You're like, oh, because we had our beers and we were drinking. They're like, oh, get off the sidewalk, like you'll be cool, just stand in the grass. Like if you're on the sidewalk, they'll get you.
Yeah.
He was
Okay.
like, but just get into the grass. We're like, okay. So we kind of stepped over into the grass, and we're like, yep, that's good enough. And we're like, okay.
Like,
Like,
we
it
don't
was
know.
literally like just like get in the grass. And we're like, okay. So we had like our own little spot,
Yeah.
which I thought was super cool because like eventually it built up.
We had a bunch of randoms come up to us.
Randos, like they were like, hey, just random Bengals fans are like,
Yeah.
can we join you? And we're like, well, why
Well,
not?
We had like 18 people. Who
Yeah.
were all in Bengals gear.
That's
so
what's fun about
people,
tailgating.
People kind of gravitated towards us.
Yeah, because we already
Especially
had
when
a
you're
big.
the away guys.
Yeah,
for
and we had a
sure.
big group, but yeah, all these other randos. And we remember the one guy we met from like Britain or something. He was some sort of British or Scottish. Yeah, were you remember that?
I don't know.
Yeah, you probably
I
too
was
drunk
too
for that. This dude was
I don't
amazing.
know.
But he said that wherever he was from is they love the Bengals.
I was about to say they have
They're
a huge
big
Bengals
We
following.
asked him like, well, why'd you start? And he's like, honestly, he's like, because your uniforms look like our football team, like their soccer, if you will.
Okay.
Team's uniforms from wherever he's from. He's like, yeah, you guys have black and orange. We have black and orange.
Made sense.
And
Okay.
so we went with you.
I heard a story on ESPN when we had a London game that there's a huge following for whatever reason of Bengals fans, but I did not know that.
No, he said there's Bengals bars everywhere.
right, which is
He's
probably,
like, there's
there's probably
Bengals bars.
more there than here.
Probably. He's like, literally, he's like, there's Bengals bars just everywhere.
That's
He's like,
funny.
so he just like, yeah, that dude he was super nice guy. Yeah, you
Yeah.
were probably toasted. I was toasted by then too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. Like I
Yeah.
said, going into the stadium, it was old school as shit.
Yeah, it seems like one of those old school stadiums.
Super tight, super high. I mean, and those fans weren't so great to us.
It's kind of once the game got close,
Yeah.
we had some guys behind us that got pretty shitty, and we're just like, come on, man.
I remember a couple of you guys were texting me about it, like, about to get in a fight. And you know how Brandon is, so it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And then after we lost and we're walking on the stage, dude, we got harassed.
Oh, that's
Oh,
that's
man.
the chance you take when you. I mean, you know this when you for any sport, you go and you're supporting the away team and
Yeah.
you lose,
Yeah,
Yep.
you're gonna get it.
yeah.
So before the game, they were pretty nice. Like we were joking around.
Probably pre-alcohol.
Yeah, and they were like, messing with us, and we were messing with them. And the one dude, he was wearing one of their quarterbacks jerseys that was just bombed horribly. I was like, how'd that work out for you?
Tyrod Taylor or something.
No, I forget who it was. It was someone. It was the one guy that threw like 8 picks, like set a record for our.
Oh, yes.
Nathan Peterman.
Peterman.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, nice Peterman jersey. And you look back, you could tell he smiled. I was like, how'd that pick work out for you?
Why would you wear a Peterman jersey?
And he turned around and said
Why?
something to me, and I was like, yeah. I was like, but you're welcome for that playoffs. He looked. He's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing we had going for us there is that we got them into the playoffs a few
Yeah.
years ago. So
Yeah.
Tyler Boyd.
yeah.
So, but those are only 2 stadiums I've been to football wise.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
I
guys.
haven't been to very many either.
Yeah, I only thinking about it. I only been to one other one besides Cincinnati's.
Yeah.
Is Detroit Ford
Okay.
Field. When it was
Was that a
brand
Bengals
new.
game?
I went
Okay.
for a Bengals game
Oh, yeah.
when Chad Johnson and we were good, like around the. Yeah, that was actually I think it was the 05 season. Now I think it was the 05 season because I was still at UC, and me and ex-girlfriend at the time we went up with her cousin, her boyfriend, and went up to Detroit. I said hi to my cousin Marshall Mathers. You might know him as Eminem. No, but for real, like Detroit, obviously you know how Detroit is, but when you get to the downtown area where the stadium was, it's nice like any other downtown.
Really?
Yeah, I was shocked because I always hear horror stories about Detroit.
Like abandoned skyscrapers and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you see that.
Yeah, that's
but like
wild.
where
I can't
Ford
even
Field
imagine.
was, it seemed pretty nice. Walked by where the Tigers play, which is how I saw down into the
Mm-hmm.
baseball stadium. But Ford Field itself was super nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably the reason why they have Super Bowls there.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
Nice
mean, it's
that
obviously
it's a dome,
inside,
right.
yeah. But even the fact that it's a dome, it's super nice. It's not like the ones that are
it's
out
kind of
now.
older too, isn't it? Yeah.
Because I mean, like I said, that was 05 when I went to it, and it was
Okay.
newish. It wasn't the first year of it. So we went to that. The Bengals won. The line sucked then, though.
Sure.
So they had a lot of fire Matt McMillan hats or whatever, or brown paper bags. A lot of Bengals fans because
Yeah.
Detroit sucked.
Right.
Yeah.
Got to see one of Chad Johnson's iconic dances. Can't remember which one on top of my head now because I'm an old man, but
Yeah.
he had one. And Chad's my all-time favorite Bengals. I was excited.
Hell yeah.
Chad jersey on. Didn't catch flack there. But for another sport, I got a story about catching flack.
Okay.
But that's my only NFL stadium. I've been to, just to fluff up my numbers, I've been to both Bengal stadiums.
Sure.
Old Riverfront and then Paul Brown. I think Riverfront was only a handful of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day, my dad and his brother, my uncle, had season tickets, and they got it like their second Super Bowl run. and then through the 90s, where my
Yeah.
dad was just falling asleep at the games, and my uncle was watching the cheerleaders. So they're like, and when they moved to the new stadium, they're like, "We're done." It's like I can't stay awake. They want a seat tax, so
Right.
no more. So I started going to Paul Brown games when I got older. Got the '05 Bengals. Really sparked the fun in it. And I was older at that point, so I could do my own tickets.
Yeah.
So to fluff up my numbers, been to plenty of Paul Brown games.
There you go.
My favorite one, Monday Night Football against Peyton Manning. The Broncos were a better team than us, and we picked them off and won that game right before
That was
Christmas.
Dre Kirkpatrick. Pick
Yep.
6 on him. Yeah, I remember.
I remember that. 'cause-
Favorite game.
I remember that because John came over, your brother.
Yes. And
He
his
just
co-
got off work and sped here to watch the end of the game with me, and we went wild, hugging and
I
going.
was like, didn't he pick you up and hugging you? or
Yeah, we
something?
were going nuts. Bentley was going nuts. All hell was breaking loose, and there was only 2 people and a dog.
Yeah.
But it felt like we were about to tear the house down.
That's the beauty of sport. But
Yeah.
that's all. I'm
Yeah, I don't have very many. I've also been to Lucas Oil. I went.
Okay.
I went for the inaugural season when it first. I don't remember that year.
no.
Maybe
Yeah.
2008, 2009, something like that. It was Peyton Manning versus John Kitna.
Okay.
So the expectations were very low.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That was. I know we talked off air about random fans wearing
Yes.
random jerseys.
Yeah.
There was a guy wearing a Cowboys jersey. I might get the Marion Barber.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
he was wearing a Marion Barber jersey, and we were in the bathroom, and me and my buddy Chris, who I went to Busch Stadium with, we were just taking a piss, and this Colts fan's like, "Hey, buddy, I don't think the Cowboys are in town," and we're just giggling over there. And that's exactly what I would like to say, but I'm the away team. I'm not
Yeah.
saying anything.
It's almost funnier when someone reads your mind and says it.
Yeah,
At least
yeah.
it
Oh,
always
yeah.
makes me giggle. Except he's sitting there like pissing, and they're like, "Hey, buddy, Dallas is that way."
Yeah.
Right. But
You're at the
yes,
wrong stadium.
Right. So yeah, so I've been to Indy. We've already touched on Buffalo, and then the only other away stadium NFL that I've been to is Heinz Field, but it was not for a Cincinnati Bengals game
Oh, yeah.
or even a Pittsburgh Steelers game.
Oh.
So was it a college game or?
Yeah, it was the greatest sporting event I've ever seen in my entire life.
Pitt UC.
Oh.
Pitt UC, Brian Kelly's last
Yeah.
game, Pike to Benz.
Yeah.
The game was.
One of the like snowy, rainy kind
Yeah,
of.
and we were down 31-17 at halftime,
Yeah.
and we were projected to win that game, and we were not in the cheering section. We were kind of just by ourselves. It was me and Nick Lucan and his parents,
Oh wow.
and we were getting harassed.
Yeah.
And I remember my cousin calling me, and he's like, "You're at the game, right?" I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "I feel like I just watched an entire football game in one half." I was like, "Yeah, but it's not very fun right now."
Yeah.
Right.
And then Marty Gilliard took back the opening kickoff to make it 31-24, and that just kind of sparked us. And that's just kind of why I touched on some of that, because that was literally the best sporting event I've ever been to.
It gives me chills watching.
getting
it.
chills right now.
It comes on
Again.
Twitter. Yeah, the video comes back on Twitter every year,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
I just because I remember watching it on TV and I was just lit.
Yeah, Pike to Benz, baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it is stadiums. Doesn't have to be the pro team
Sure,
playing. So
sure.
you got to
But
see
no.
Heinz Field.
But but Pitt does the same thing. They're football fans. They walk across that bridge. They
Yeah.
all do it. They all walk to the stadium.
That's probably the best way to beat at Heinz Field is college, and you have to deal with
Yeah.
Steelers fans. Yeah.
Stupid towels.
Well, and that's what Pitt doesn't have their own stadium. They play at Heinz Field.
Yeah.
So
That's
Yeah,
wild.
that's
So,
cool.
what other stadiums you been to, Greg?
So
You
I've
have
been
NBA
to
or something?
NBA as well, but it's only one. But I've been to
Okay.
a couple NBA games. Cleveland, Quicken Loans, at least back then, and so NBA is totally different. Like they pump you up before the game, in between on timeouts.
sure.
A lot of fun. Different than baseball or football.
I'm sure those
Yeah.
arenas get loud.
Oh, and they get real loud.
Yeah.
And so the first time I went, it was a spur of a moment thing.
Yeah.
And got to see my favorite player, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace,
Oh, yeah.
play against LeBron James.
That's pretty cool.
I'm decked out in Laker gear. And I remember two things. So first, when I checked in, the security guard stops me. He's like, "I can't let you in with that shit." I'm like, "Excuse me?" He's like, "I can't let you in with that shit." And then I was like, "Oh, he's messing with me." And so then right off the bat, I get it. And then after the game, now mind you, Lakers did lose this game.
Okay.
And I'm walking through the concourse, and a mom, like a soccer mom's like, "Get that shit out of here. Fuck the Lakers." And I'm like, "Whoa, what in the world?"
The one person you wouldn't think to do
Calm
it,
down.
and she got in her minivan.
Calm down, Karen.
Now, the craziest trash talking I heard was at NBA game, as far as it didn't make sense to me. So we know LeBron went straight from high school to pros. Kobe Bryant went straight from high school to the pros.
Yeah.
And his argument against Kobe was like, he didn't go to college. And after him saying like 8 times, if I turn around, I'm like, neither did LeBron, you idiot. So Cleveland fans are the idiots of the world. And then a couple years later, maybe even the next year, we went back to Cleveland, and I got to check out Kenyon Martin, Allen Iverson, Carmelo Anthony with the Nuggets play against LeBron and the Cavaliers.
That's pretty cool.
And that game got delayed to nighttime, so we hung out at the mall. It's right next to the arena. It's like Cleveland Mall or something weird name.
Yeah.
And we saw George Karl walking to the food court to get his food. Curtis was looking for AI, but we didn't see him. Wayne went with us, a friend that me and Brian know, and he disappeared from us. And then come to find out, he was having a conversation with J.R. Smith about he should shoot more threes. That night, he shot a ton of threes and was making them. We're like, oh
that's
my
Wayne,
God.
though. They're getting random stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So why was it delayed? Do you remember?
I think for TV reasons.
Oh, they're just trying to.
Yeah. There was a snowstorm while we were there.
Okay.
No.
But I think it was for TV reasons. We did see J.R. Smith in the store, but he was still like new, and I'm not going to walk up and like, hey, J.R. But I was like, now and I see him in his goofy memes, and he's a champion. I'm like, damn it.
Probably should have, because he probably wasn't cool with it.
I know,
He's
but
that type.
I know you're an NBA fan. I know you're not, but it's a fun experience.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been to Bearcat games.
Yeah.
So you got the basketball experience.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which I just throw that as my randoms. Is like, I've been to
Yeah.
UC basketball, UC football. I've been to the Ohio State football stadium, but not in the game. But I went up there to tailgate for a Michigan game with one of my exes.
TTUN.
Yep, TTUN, and also was up there for a USC
Gross.
game. So I had that.
That's cool.
Been to a Miami hockey game.
Okay.
Oh, really? That's kind of
Yeah,
interesting.
that was a lot of fun.
Speaking of hockey, I know like Richard's gone to a couple hockey, haven't you?
The Blue Jackets.
Blue Jackets?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. We went up a few years ago, and the game was just secondary because the plan afterwards was to just get totally annihilated, which is exactly what happened. We went up with Cody, friend of ours, who's from Columbus, big Jackets fan.
Yeah.
And he knew the bars to hit afterwards, so it was perfect. And
That worked out.
And we got annihilated. I thought you were there with us.
I was supposed to be,
Okay.
and work got in the way, naturally.
Yeah, I have a picture from that night where we're all in the elevator. I just remember a bunch of beards, so that's why I assumed you were there.
It was probably Josh's beard, because I heard he was there.
Oh, well, and in that picture, we're holding him up, and he looks dead.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
Dude, it's one of my favorite pictures because all of us are just like, he's like,
He's just gone.
just done.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah,
But,
so that's the only. Me and you have been outside, or we were in Nashville together.
I did not make that either.
No, so that's the other football stadium I've been to.
Oh, yeah, Tennessee.
Oh,
Yeah.
with Brandon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I did not make that one either.
I'm getting
to
old
work.
too. But we partied on a rooftop bar, right across the street from where the Predators play.
I know, and that's
Okay.
why. Because I'm a Predators fan, but I'm a Blue Jackets fan too. So I've only been to Cyclones, minor league hockey.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to a big league hockey, either one.
Yeah.
I would like. I mean, I don't
On my
follow
bucket
it.
list, yeah.
I'm kind of like Richard, but I don't hate the NHL. I just don't follow it. How you are at the NBA. It'll be fun. The Miami University games were great because they're like one of the best teams in college.
They're actually really good. Yeah,
Yeah, so that was
they're actually
fun.
nationally ranked and have some rivalries with Ohio State and TTUN.
Yeah.
and-
Yep.
So no, I'd love to go to any of the. I mean, my only rando one I've gone to is Mount St. Joe football.
Okay.
Okay.
So it was very much. It was like a fancy elder
Yeah.
stadium.
Yeah, it is.
So like
Yeah.
they're like D2 or D3.
Yeah,
or
it was like
something
D3 at the time at
Yeah.
least, and it was kind of like the Pit but newer.
Yeah.
So it was like Elder's Pit but just newer. You could tell like they have college money, private college money, so it's
Sure.
gonna
Yeah.
be a little fancier, but it kind of felt like that vibe.
Yeah.
Probably more fans in the Elder game though than there would have been at the Mount St. Joseph
Right.
game. But that was just a rando.
Any FC for either of you? I know
I'm
we have the new
not.
stadium now, but
I went
in
to
general.
Nippert for one game.
Okay.
No.
I've never been to an FC game.
That's when they were still, is it like USL? When they were just tearing
Yeah.
everybody up.
Yeah.
And then they stepped into the big boy league and
Have not done well.
they're
lately
they're
though,
starting to pick it up.
I said
I say lately.
they haven't lost a game in a few.
Yeah.
They had a couple wins, a couple ties.
Two wins and a draw in their last three, I believe.
Is that what it is?
And
Yeah.
Then, Hell is Real is this Friday night. They play Columbus Crew.
Oh,
Okay.
That's
now I know I've asked you. This is kind of off subject, but like you are a Columbus Crew fan, right?
I was.
And are you FC over them now? Since
Correct.
It's, okay.
Always.
See, I was always
Cincinnati
wondering.
team.
Yeah, because we've talked about this in other pods though. Like we're Lakers fans, for example, and if Cincinnati got a basketball team, it's like, I mean, obviously I'm going to be a Cincinnati fan.
Right.
But then, like, what do I do when they're in like the chip against each other
Right.
or something like that? It's like, well, I've always been rooting for this team, so now
Right.
I've got this team. It's like, what do I do?
Right.
It's the same thing with like the Blue Jackets. If,
Yeah.
If what were we called, like the Cincinnati Hornets or whatever, the Bees or something like that.
Stingers.
The Stingers.
Stingers,
there it is.
yeah, okay.
If that ever came back around, I would have to drop the. I would have to drop the Blue Jackets
altogether,
But
yeah.
I have been to a Columbus Crew game too as well. So.
Okay.
Okay, I've
They
seen their
just-
stadium from outside. It looks
They
cool.
just built a new stadium.
Did they? Their old one looked
They
cool from the
just-
outside, at least.
Oh, their new one's wild.
Yeah.
They just had their inaugural game earlier this week, or this weekend, one of the two.
Okay.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's cool though.
But, yeah,
Cool stuff. Yeah.
The rivalry is called Hell is Real between FC and
That's
Columbus.
cool.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
So and
That's cool.
They're peaking at the right time, but Columbus Crew won the MLS Cup last year.
Right.
Cool. So yeah, we're about at the hour mark. I mean, I can touch on quickly some places I'd like to go.
Heck yeah.
Let's see here. So for baseball, I kind of broke it down, and I won't really talk about much of them. But so baseball, Chicago. I'd like to go for either White Sox or Cubs. L.A. for a Dodgers.
That'd be cool.
Kansas City and Boston. Those are on my. Kansas City's kind of like because I pick them a lot, but like watching them play the Reds, the stadium looks cool.
Yeah.
Plus they have good food like barbecue and stuff like that. So I think it'd be cool to try some food.
There you go.
Like a rando city because obviously I have the big cities, your Chicago, L.A., Boston. But I was like my rando city would be KC. NFL would be like Dallas, Atlanta, Vegas, Chicago, and Green Bay. A mixture of classic and just new stadiums that are probably amazing to go to.
Incredible, right?
NHL, Nashville, Columbus, Toronto.
Okay.
Canada's sport basically is
Sure.
hockey, so why not
Probably
go to
get hyped
Toronto?
for it.
Yeah, and I may as well root for Toronto unless they're playing one of my teams. I'd almost want to go to that when they're playing like Boston or Pittsburgh or someone a neutral game that I don't
Yeah.
really care,
So you
you know.
can- so
So I
you
can
can
just root
cheer
for
for it,
Toronto
yeah.
and move on, yeah.
Right.
NBA, I'd like to go to New York, Madison Square Garden. It's
Yes.
classic. Staples,
Yes.
classic for us being, and then the Bulls.
Yes.
United Center, I think it's still called. Maybe I don't know if they changed that name.
Yeah, I don't know
but
either,
either way,
but
I mean, just to
we
watch,
know it's that.
I could just watch their intro and then be like, all right, I'm good. And then randos. I'd like to go to a NASCAR event. I think that'd be cool.
I've been to a NASCAR event, but I didn't include that.
Indy 500, I think would be cool, and like Kentucky Derby.
I've been to the Brickyard.
Kentucky Derby would be cool.
All those would be cool. That's just my quick things I'd like. I don't know if you guys have any places
Right
you
on.
kind of.
You hit a lot of the ones I like. I was Staples Center, Madison Square Garden.
Those
I
are
want to
like
check out the
creme de la creme too.
Barclay Center in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
Wrigley. I would even check out Dallas. I want to check out San Francisco 49ers randomly because on the
Oh
Bay.
yeah, the new one.
Newer football stadiums. Would
Yeah, see
definitely
all the
be
new
on my
ones
list.
you
Yeah.
said, like
Yeah.
L.A. and Vegas. I think Vegas looks cool. Personally, all black.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. It's a shame that some of these stadiums opened last year when it's COVID and no fans.
Right.
Yeah.
But trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, a lot of the ones you said I can think of right now, like Chicago would be cool for the Bulls.
Yeah.
But like you said, the intro music. That's like when I watched that Michael Jordan Last Dance documentary last
it's like
year.
dun, dun, dun,
I'm like,
dun, dun, dun.
oh, the '90s kids coming out of me again. I'm like,
Yeah.
getting pumped up, like Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of the same ones you said. I think it's because they're the iconic ones. Some of the new ones. If I think of a random one before we end, I'll say it. But
Sure.
Yeah.
So mine would be mostly baseball, just because of all the reasons that I said. I would love to. I know that the Reds struggle when they do this, but to follow them on their west
That'd be
trip
fun.
coast or their
West Coast trip. Yeah.
yeah, one of those. Because you could knock out so many stadiums in 2 weeks. If you had the time off, it could probably be pretty expensive because you're out in California.
Yeah.
But to be able to hit like you think about like San Francisco right on the bay, and then like even if you didn't go see the Reds, but Oakland is just right across.
Hit Oakland and Anaheim, maybe.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, I mean, just because they're close, you could try to hit a game even if you're not seeing the Reds. But then, when they go play L.A., they go play
Yeah.
San Diego, you try to hit a bunch of those out there. For football, like you guys kind of touched on, some of the bigger stadiums, I'd love to go see what a $5 billion stadium looks like in Los Angeles.
$5 billion.
Yeah.
And it's in L.A.
Right. I'd love to go see that, whether they played the Rams or the Chargers. But I obviously, what I'm saying is I would, and you guys are probably the same, you'd like to see your team when you're there, but if it doesn't work
if
out,
not,
at
least to go.
Sure.
Some of them's going
NFL's
for the
trickier.
stadiums. Yeah, like NFL's just going for the stadiums,
Right.
too, just to see what they, like I said, a $5 billion stadium
Right.
looks like. And like I said, like, for a West Coast trip, to touch on that, I would like to go when the Reds are out there, because whenever I get a chance at some point in life to go on a West Coast trip, I want it to be for 2 weeks anyway.
Sure.
Yeah.
'Cause I just want to, first off, I don't want to have to, like, rush there and rush back. I had a buddy that did that, and he said he loved it, but he was like, it was constant. They had to be super planned, and he doesn't normally do vacations like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not a planner. He's like, I plan some things, but I kind of wing it.
Yeah.
You know? He's like, but, I mean, we were there for 4 days. He was like, we had 1 week. You know, we had to fly out. We were tired, but then we had to ding, 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 ding. He's like, and then we flew back, and he's like, the whole vacation was just a blur.
Right.
He's like, it was fun, but it was like, it was an exhausting vacation.
Yeah.
I was like, I'd rather have 2 weeks where I have time to really kind of follow him and still get back with like 3 days to spare before I go,
Right.
you know, back to work or whatever. Something like that. Or if I do it maybe post-retirement, then I wouldn't give a shit as much.
Yeah.
You know, however I do it. But I think that'd be a cool thing. I agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do too.
You know, definitely to
You're
follow it.
because that's a trip. It's not even necessarily for the stadiums,
Right.
you
You're
know,
still
in
going to
themselves.
see, yeah.
But you're still seeing them.
Yeah.
But you're doing it for the West Coast trip in this case.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
Follow the team.
I've never been west of Colorado either, so to get further, maybe
I haven't even been that west.
maybe see the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
I have you beat by a state.
Yeah?
I went to Arizona.
Okay.
Yep.
That's it.
Another football stadium I would love to see, just because of what we've heard of with the atmospheres, to go see a game in Seattle.
Yeah.
Oh
With
yeah.
how,
Yes.
with how loud they are. So
Good call.
Like you said, any of the cool ones that are brand new, like Atlanta, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I love the older stadiums, as we all do. You got to go see a game at Lambeau. I
Yeah.
almost feel like you got to force yourself to go in like December. You're going to
Yep.
face your nuts
Even
off.
better.
But
Let
you
the snow just hit you in
want
the
it to
face,
snow.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let my beard freeze sideways. And,
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other baseball stadium that I would love to see, I don't know why, I've always just I've liked it, and I also think if the Reds went there, they'd probably win, is Camden Yards to see them play the Orioles.
No, yeah.
Yes. I forgot about them.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we talked about it in the previous podcast.
Yeah.
Like
I
Baltimore is
forgot
the
about
old
them.
iconic one.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to check that out. And another random one I love that with baseball is Atlanta for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to go.
Oh, yeah,
to,
Turner Field or
yeah.
whatever they call it now. But
Yeah.
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 No, yeah, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I'd want to go to every baseball stadium for
Yeah.
sure. Damn near every football stadium. I mean, if I'm going to knock, some of them would be just checking it off a list, maybe, just to say I went to all the NFLs. But,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
baseball, I think I legitimately would want to go to every stadium.
Yeah. think
NFL, I
baseball's
would
more
probably,
feasible.
you know, and then even NHL, like you say, at Madison Square Garden, I wouldn't mind seeing a Rangers game.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to go to Madison Square Garden. For me, it's preferably for basketball, but, like, I would go for any event.
Just being inside of it.
Yeah, it's an iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And plus, I mean, Rangers are just as iconic as the Knicks. It's just if you're a hockey fan or a basketball fan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. And, you know, like Boston Garden, stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know,
that'd be
just
cool.
them old school cities like that.
Yeah.
So,
So as we wrap this up, just what do you guys think about our stadiums, our home stadiums, the Reds and the
I
Bengals?
love Great American.
I love Great American.
Paul
But
Brown,
It's that.
It's functional.
In one word, not even really a word. That's
Yeah.
about what I would say for it.
We could have done so much more with it, I feel like.
Well, and I've always said it
Yeah.
that it's an NRG Stadium down in Houston. They built theirs like 2 years after us. They spent less on their stadium, and it's. I would probably compare it to Lucas Oil.
Yeah.
One, it's a dome.
Yeah.
It's bigger.
Yeah.
You can host all kinds of things like the Final
That's
Four.
That's
my
where we
biggest
messed
thing,
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
We screwed up. Yeah.
we could
And-
be Indianapolis, have the Combine, have Final Fours, have
Yeah.
Super Bowls, have.
I don't know what Mike Brown's thinking because he could have made more money off of it.
Yep.
He doesn't think. And that's,
I know.
And like I said, it blows me away that stadium costs less than what
I
we
know.
have.
He's probably sitting there like, damn, I could have spent less.
Yeah.
And made
got
more.
more.
money.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But I guess that's about it.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, are we done?
I think we're done. Are we done?
I think we're done.
Is this road trip over?
All right, kids.
All righty. Good night.
Deuces.